European CBAM reporting has become mandatory reporting from January this year, marking a major shift in how exports to the European Union are regulated. Now, this means that any supplier exporting products and items made of iron and steel, aluminium or cement from India to the European Union Commission must now comply with strict CBAM reporting and verification requirements. While the actual CBAM declaration is submitted by the EU buyer, the responsibility for providing accurate and verified emissions data lies squarely with the exporter. Let's look at some major CBAM reporting changes. Authorized CBAM declarants. Under the CBAM framework effective from January 2026, only authorized CBAM declarants or ACDs are permitted to submit quarterly CBAM reports to the EU authorities. These ACDs are typically EU importers or European buyers. Any importer that is not legally authorized as an ACD cannot place CBAM-covered goods into free circulation within the EU market. This makes CBAM compliance critical for exporters, as EU buyers will only work with suppliers who can provide reliable CBAM data. CBAM certificate price loads. Another major change from 2026 is the introduction of CBAM certificate pricing and carbon tax liability. EU buyers are now required to calculate the CBAM certificate price based on embedded emissions in their imports and hold certificates equivalent to 50% of year-to-date embedded emissions at the end of each quarter, reduced from earlier 80% requirement. Importers can deduct any carbon price already paid in the country of origin, but only if certified documentary evidence is available. CBAM certificate prices will be linked to the EU ETS auction prices. In 2026, prices will be calculated on a quarterly average basis, while from January 2027, the calculation will shift to a weekly average of EU ETS allowances prices. The European Commission will publish these prices and make them accessible directly through ACD accounts for everyone. Now, EU-approved verification. From January 1st, 2026, EU-approved third-party verification of actual embedded emissions become mandatory. Verifiers must conduct physical site visits at manufacturing installations in 2026, while limited flexibility introduced only from 2027. Exporters and importers must retain emissions data and verification evidence for at least 4 years, and verifiers can apply a maximum materiality threshold of 5%. Default values. Use of default values is allowed, but emissions factors have been deliberately kept very high to act as punitive measures. A key risk for exporters is the use of default values. These conservative emission estimates are deliberately set much higher than actual emissions and can increase CBAM or carbon tax liabilities by up to 5 times, along with additional markups of 10 to 20%. Now, default values are meant to discourage poor data practices and can severely impact trade competitiveness. Finally, let's talk about the Omnibus package, which was published in February 2025. Introduced as a de minimis threshold for EU importers importing less than 50 tons of CBAM goods or 100 tons of CO2 per year. These are some of the major CBAM reporting changes that come in force from January 1st, 2026. To understand more in detail about how CBAM changes and impacts your business and trade with the European Union Commission, check our blog on cleancarbon.ai.